Today on the channel, I'm going to show you how to play Yankee Rose. That's good enough. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to learn how to play Yankee Rose by David Lee Roth. This song is really cool, it's crazy, and it features a lot of really wicked Steve Vai licks and sorcery. So I'm going to do my best to demonstrate this and try to tab this stuff out so everybody can take a look at what I'm doing. So I learn all this stuff by ear, and I do my absolute best to give you guys the closest and most accurate information that I can. So here we go. First of all, Steve Vai joined David Lee Roth's band clearly after Crossroads. He had a long career with Frank Zappa, and he spent some time with Alcatraz. And when Steve Vai hit the scene, a lot of people hadn't seen him yet in Crossroads, didn't really know of him from Alcatraz or Frank Zappa. So when he hit the David Lee Roth band, it really opened him up to millions and millions of eyes and ears that wouldn't have seen him prior to that. Because, well, let's face it, I mean, Zappa huge, but not globally huge like David Lee Roth and Van Halen were at the time. And nor were Alcatraz. Crossroads helped out a lot. But anyway, I'm babbling. Steve Vai brought in a lot of really cool licks and tricks from his Zappa and Alcatraz and Flexible days and showcased them on the David Lee Roth album. So for a lot of Roth fans, it was fresh and new to their ears. And this song's got a lot of interesting Steve Vai techniques in them that Steve has used throughout his career, and is pretty much his signature sound and trademark. So without further ado, let's take a look at this song. It starts off with an interesting chord. It kind of reminds me of when Hard Day's Night by the Beatles starts off. It starts off with a kind of a G sus chord, and I like the fact that this album started this way because it was the first thing that we heard from the new David Lee Roth band. So the chord is, rather than being just a G chord, which the song is in G, by the way, standard tuning. So the chord is like this. So what he's doing is he's basically playing a G chord without any thirds, and he's adding the C. They're probably playing these chords in different positions throughout the neck and in the studio to give it that big sound. That's what the Beatles did with Hard Day's Night. They played multiple chords. They created a polychord, but the best way that I know of to replicate that with a single guitar is to just play it like that, all right? Okay, so when that chord ends, the drums start and David Lee Roth starts to talk with Steve Vai. Steve Vai actually starts off. The first note you hear Steve Vai play as a lead guitar player is with his Crybaby, and as you can hear, I've got my Crybaby activated. So Steve Vai liked to replicate vocals like talking. Your voice has pitches, so they're chromatic pitches. And whether you realize it or not, you're speaking, and there's notes. When you say words, there's actually notes that can be staffed out. And on I believe it was Flexible Leftovers, Steve did a song called Happy that was, he basically doubled a lady talking for a few minutes. It's like an LSD trip. It's totally crazy. So Steve employed that technique with David Lee Roth. And all right, so first thing he says, it sounds like he says David with his guitar, and with your Crybaby pedal, when you press down on the pedal, it makes it go like that, right? So it gives you that little wah sound. And so what I'm doing up here is I'm on the G minor pentatonic area of the frets. So I'm up here. So most of this introduction is going to be done in G minor pentatonic. It pretty much all is. So but he does a lot of chromatic stuff since your voice is chromatic when it speaks most of the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be on the G string, and I'm going to be on the 16th and the 15th fret, and I'm going to hit the wah-wah pedal with each note, and I'm going to scoop it with my whammy bar. So it sounds like... That's kind of like what he does at the beginning of that album. And then Dave says, "What?" And then Steve goes. So what I did there was I went. So I'm starting on the 16th fret on the G string, and I'm bending it up, and I'm going to pull off. I'm going to go right back up chromatically. Down chromatic. Then. So I'm going. And then Dave says, "Well, whoa." And then Steve goes. So what I did there was on the D string, I went. And I go all the way up to the 17th fret, and I go all the way back down, and I engage my wah-wah pedal. And then Dave says, "She's beautiful." And I'm going to play the 18th and the 15th fret. So he goes. So I slide up to the 18th and do the wah-wah. And then I slide up to the 15th and do the wah-wah. And go back down. And then Steve does the famous laugh where he goes. So what I did there is I'm taking the 17th fret and I'm bending it up. Basically, I'm bending it up to the 19th. I'm going. And it sounds like Steve goes on that last part. So we're going. So what I did was I'm doing 17, 16, 15 on the G and the D string after I do that chromatic run on the B string. Okay, and then Dave goes, "And she looks wild, wild." And Steve duplicates that, and what he does is he goes. He's on the 3rd fret on the G string, the way that I hear it. Once again, the wah-wah and the whammy bar. 5th fret. And then the 8th, 12th, 17th. So we're going. So from the very beginning, I'll start it. I forgot though. And then. And I bend that note up. And I pull up on the whammy bar also. So that's one reason Steve has his whammy bars, routed out, and he can pull up. If you watch the Steve Vai documentary, they talk about the creation of the Ibanez gem, and that Steve wanted this routed out really deep so he could pull up super high to do things like that. All right, so let's start with the song. After they do that crazy introduction, the song finally kicks in with some lyrics. So they hit a power G like that. Then there's a lick, which is C, A string, 3rd fret, low E, 1st fret, F, F sharp, G. So that's the very first lick in the song. But it gets a little interesting. Rather than just play bar chords or power chords, Steve adds little notes during this this verse part to give it a little bit of flavor. So he goes. So what I did there was I'm adding an F, which turns it into an F dominant 7. And he likes to play broken chords, kind of like Eddie Van Halen plays broken chords, and he probably followed the Van Halen template to some degree on this song, but then added his own little cartoon type stuff that he does because he injected his own style into it. But he probably knew, and Dave probably knew, that they needed a little bit of that Van Halen sound, since that's kind of what they're going to be compared to. So anyway, it goes. So what I'm doing is kind of like that first chord is like that. I'm just breaking it up in pieces. And then it goes to a B flat. So from the very beginning. So what he does there, that's really hard to do, is he hits a harmonic on the G string on the 7th fret, and he's going to do this melody. But he uses his whammy bar. He goes, and then he doubles it so it sounds even cooler on the record. So. Nope. So before they go to that pre-chorus, he also does like he does a lot of these little pentatonic box shaped riffs once in a while. Kind of like we're in this shape. All right, so then the pre-chorus is D minor, where he says, "She's a vision from coast to coast," and then B flat, C to shining C, D minor. But what he does is he goes. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking up this D minor chord. I'm going to play D right there on the A string on the 5th fret, and then I'm taking my middle finger and my ring finger, and I'm playing on the 5th and 6th, and I'm going to palm mute and go, kind of go back and forth, chug it. And I'm going to play a sus2 B flat, which is basically, you're going to basically play those top 2 strings like that. And then it goes, which is a C to an E, then F, F sharp, G, to the chorus. So the chorus goes like, then, so it goes, bright lights, city lights. Probably the coolest lick in the whole song. So what I'm doing there is I'm going, the whole lick is on the A string and the E string, but it's on the 1st and 3rd fret. And we're going to start on the 3rd fret on the A string and go down to the B flat. So that first part goes, then, and he does that twice, so the chorus goes, bright lights, city lights, I'm talking about the Yankee Rose. Okay, so then it goes back to the verse. And then Dave says, can you feel the tension, right? And Steve hits a G note that is an octave above this G, which would be like right about there. And I have explored the fretboard and I can't find a harmonic that will do that with a bend up. I think Steve, there was some studio trickery there, or he used a whammy bar pedal or something to get that high G. So when you feel the tension, if you just want to replicate that, you could go play that high G and put a lot of vibrato on it. And then there's this really fast lick before it goes into the 2nd pre-chorus, which is a... So after he does that high G part we were just talking about, he goes... I'm not going to try to play this up to speed. Sometimes I can get it, sometimes I can't, but I'm going to show you the lick. So when they come out of that verse, before they go into that pre-chorus, Steve does this blistering, this lick, right? So what we're doing is he's up on the, what is this, 17, 18, 19, 20th? I always have to count. The 20th fret on the high E, 20th to the 18th, and then the B string, 18 to 15. So, and then 17 and 15 on the G string. So it's 6 notes. And then it goes one more time. Then he bends that C up to a D. So that last part is, which is all on the D, A, and the E string. So I'm on the 9th and or the 10th and the 8th string, or 10th and 8th fret, and then you bend that C up to a D. So once again, this is during that verse. Then you go. goes into the bridge, and Steve takes his hand and he goes. It sounds like he's just rubbing his guitar, right? Very ASMR, and Dave goes into this ASMR thing. He was like, Dave was ASMR before it was a thing, right? So, and they go into the... And Dave's like, nothing like her in the whole world. And Steve does this really cool lick that goes... So it's in between the B flat and the G chord, so it goes... Or... So what I'm doing there is I'm on the 13th fret on the... This is all on the B string, so 13th fret, and I'm bending it up to that D, which is the 5th of the B flat chord, incidentally. That's why that sounds so nice. Then he goes back down to the C, and then the 11th. Trills 10 to 8, and then 6, 8, 6. So lots of delay on that. Sounds kind of like just like Paradise when he does that lick. And then the buildup, which is sort of like Panama. This is all power chords. So it's a B, C, D, B, or B flat, C, D, B flat, F, and then back to this D minor. And then it goes into the Billy Sheehan bass part. So bass part with the drums, and so the outro has kind of a really funky, cool solo. The first part, it goes, so what he does is he goes, so I'm on the B and the G string on the 5th fret, and I'm doing little scrapes. And then the 3rd fret, same strings, and then we're going to do this, which is very Steve Vai. It's an A, G, F, G. But we're going to be on these 5ths up here, middle 2 strings, D and the G string, starting on the 7th and the 9th fret. And he picks once and slides, and then... Sounds like that's what he's doing, which is right down the G minor blues scale. Or he could be going... It just makes more guitar sense to go... But then again, it's Steve Vai that we're talking about. So... So when he starts doing that riff, there's like, you can hear some really cool licks in there where he's going, bright lights, city lights. So he's going... Okay, so what he's doing is he's taking the G string and he's just going... And he's putting a lot of vibrato on it. He's up on the 15th fret and he's using the bar. And then he hits the middle 2 strings, and then he's going to hit a harmonic at some point in that dive bomb on the 5th fret. and pull up really hard. And what I'm doing is I'm going, and as I get down low, I'm going to hit the harmonic. If you notice, I've got my hand, I got it shaped like a C around the neck, and I'm muting the high E and the B and the low E and the A. So I just want those two middle strings to be ringing. So and then you hear him go, or something like that. So he's back up in the G minor pentatonic, where he's going. He's on the 18th fret. He's bending up a whole step to the G, down to the 15th, and then he's on the 17th. He's going to bend that up to that 18th. Makes it sound very, sexy, slinky. And he basically just goes down that G minor pentatonic and does the whammy bar. So, you kind of have to improvise and make it your own. And he just does all kinds of crazy whammy bar stuff at the very end. You could do anything in the studio. Everything was pre-planned and really well executed. I would love to know how many takes it probably took him to do this. Probably not many. I mean, he's amazing, right? So, so pretty much that's it. There was one last lick that I forgot to put in there. There's a lick at one part of the song that goes... right before Dave says, "She's a vision from coast to coast." So if you can remember this lick, there's one that goes. So I'm on the 6th and the 8th, and then I go, but I'm going. So Steve liked to put a lot of really cool licks between the pre-chorus and the verses and the pre-chorus, just to set it up. So anyway, I hope you liked the lesson. Hope it was helpful and you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe. If you like this kind of content, comment below. And I really appreciate you watching my videos. Until next time, peace out.